Today we've got Buffy Sainte-Marie, Universal Soldier on the channel. We're coming to this one on a request from Mark. Mark's been around on the channel for a very long time, sponsored a ton of videos, and has had a great impact on our channel.
Yes, thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, so this one here has got an interesting backstory, to say the least. There's an interesting backstory about the song. There's an interesting backstory about Buffy Sainte-Marie. So our brief introduction to her is that she was born in 1941 and was a folk singer and songwriter. And she initially was thought to have had indigenous roots, but then
She was claiming to be of Cree background.
So, and then it came to light later on in her career that was not in fact true, and she was unfortunately stripped of many rewards. And although she was, accepted and brought into the indigenous community, pushback occurred in some of the other areas of the indigenous communities, and saying that, you've taken away from artists that are actually indigenous, because apparently she initially said that she was adopted, and then she had that as a part of her background. You want to say something?
Yeah, so initially she said that she was born in Canada on indigenous land, and then she was adopted to a white family later on. But the CBC did an investigation, I guess, into her roots and her backstory, and it came to light that her birth certificate was from Massachusetts, and that she was born into a white family from birth, and that there was never an adoption, and that never all took place.
Yeah, so that's just what we got, guys. We're not here to discredit anything she's done. If you're a fan of her, don't think that's what we're doing.
That's just what we read.
We just, wanted to get a little bit informed as to what this controversy is all about. So apparently that's it. But apparently that's not the only thing that might bring controversy on this video that we're doing. So let's keep the tempers down, shall we? We don't want to start any crazy arguments in our comment section, because we have a great community. Mark did warn us that could happen with this one. But apparently the song Universal Soldier has a message as well that is centering around the Vietnam War, which, this is looked upon as one of the pinnacle anti-war songs. So, obviously we've done a lot of songs from the 60s. We know that was prevalent in the messaging. So I can't say I'm all that surprised.
Yeah, a lot of activism in that time period.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what exactly is so controversial about it. But, this is our first experience with Buffy Sainte-Marie and this song Universal Soldier. But apparently this song, that's not the only artist that did this song.
Yeah, apparently also Donovan did this song a year later. And
which we've done one song from him, Hurdy Gurdy Man, which was fantastic.
Yeah, and really had commercial success with that version, the cover of this song. And I believe there was a couple other covers as well.
Yeah, so anyways, this is, it's kind of a long intro for a 2.5-minute song. So I don't think we should drag this one out any longer. You ready, Sam?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's go.
He's 5'2" and he's 6'4". He fights with missiles and with spears. He's all 31 and he's only 17. He's been a soldier for 1,000 years. He's a Catholic, a Hindu, an atheist, a Jain, a Buddhist and a Baptist and a Jew. And he knows he shouldn't kill, and he knows he always will kill you for me, my friend, and me for you. And he's fighting for Canada, he's fighting for France, he's fighting for the USA, and he's fighting for the Russians, and he's fighting for Japan. And he thinks we'll put an end to war this way. And he's fighting for democracy, he's fighting for the Reds.
Clearly the vibrato is on overload on this one from
her.
And I don't know if that's her signature style or if just for this song. But the Universal Soldier, I get the meaning of the title now. It's not a... I think there's a movie called A Universal Soldier, and
I'm not
completely
sure.
different. It's like a soldier that was built, and
okay.
They changed his genes to be a super soldier.
Interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Anyways, completely off
I
topic.
feel like that's what was in my head.
Well, not exactly, but Universal Soldier meaning that soldiers are universal in the
Yes.
sense that it applies to everybody. When you're a soldier, this motto is applicable to you. If you're from this country, this creed, this religion, doesn't matter. A soldier is a soldier, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that what I'm getting for this is that everybody thinks that they're, unique and fighting for their country and doing the right thing, but
Right.
everybody is going to have that mentality, right? Like, no matter what side you're on, you're always going to think you're the one who's doing the right thing.
With the references to of like age
Yes.
as well. I think she said 31 or 16, 6'4", 5'2".
Yeah. And, also some of the places that she said, like some of those places have gone against each other before, right? Those religions have gone against each other. So, it's kind of like what I'm getting from this is that everybody always thinks that like their side is the right side. So they stand up to be patriotic and fight for their side, where it's like if nobody was agreeing to it, then like you probably wouldn't really need a soldier, but.
Yeah, well, let's find out where we're going to go with the rest of the lyrics in the song. Like you said, it is anti-war. That's what we read.
Yeah.
So I can see why you might be trending in that direction. But I don't know. Maybe we're going to go in a different direction towards the end. So let's find out.
And he's fighting for Japan, and he thinks we'll put an end to war this way. And he's fighting for democracy, he's fighting for the Reds. He says it's for the peace of all. He's the one who must decide who's to live and who's to die. And he never sees the writing on the walls. But without him, how would Hitler have condemned him at Dachau? Without him, Caesar would have stood alone. He's the one who gives his body as a weapon to the war. And without him, all this killing can't go on. He's the universal soldier, and he really is to blame. But his orders come from far away no more. They come from him and you and me. And brothers, can't you see? This is not the way we put an end to war.
So obviously you were on the right path as we circled towards the end of the song there with the lyrics.
Well, initially she had said, like, before we paused it, that, like they are committing to this essentially. I don't remember the exact words, but that they think this is the way to peace, right? They think that by sacrificing themselves, essentially, like that's what's going to end the war, right?
Yeah.
And then she went further to say, like, give all those specific examples.
Yeah, she really said that the universal soldier, the individual, is the reason for the war, that it exists. And so I think like I have two thoughts about this in the message. One being that I get the perspective in the sense of where this was for the Vietnam War, and in general, that movement of the 60s, and this is 1964 this came out. So we're talking about peace and love a lot through that time period.
Yeah.
And so without, when you talk about war, when you look at it from the perspective, like one side versus the other, you can't have peace, right? That's not going to exist. And so her perspective is that, you just got to, both sides have to be able to come to the conclusion that we don't want to fight. That's going to be what peace is about, right? So I get that. But the other side, I think, is like, well, what do you do if Germany is going to invade and attack your country, right? And start pillaging places and, even as far back as the Vikings, or whatever, right? So do you
I think she was like Caesar or something.
She said Caesar in
yeah.
there. So what do? You just don't, you decide I'm not going to fight, and, you get your family and your friends and everybody dies? Or do you say that, well, no, I'm going to stand up and go against them, and I'm going to prevent that from happening? So I think like that's kind of what may be missing here in that perspective. I get it. I understand that, if we could come to peace without war, that's would be amazing. But what do you do when, she mentioned Hitler, right? So what do you do when Hitler is putting, Jewish people in concentration camps? And do you just allow that to take place because you're not willing to fight? So, I get the perspective, but I also think that I could see why this would cause so much controversy. I said in the beginning, I'm interested to see why this would cause controversy. I get it now. And I think it's what's going on in my brain about it.
Yeah, and I think that like it's a catch-22, right? Because it's like there's even like war is an example, but there's so many things in life where it's like complicity is kind of the problem because it's like almost like the herd mentality,
Yeah.
right? Where like
Yeah, that's what she's
people
talking about.
start doing it and then it's like before you know it, you're so far downstream because people are just doing it because everybody else is doing it because they think that's what's right. And even if it's not what's right, right? But then with this, like you said, I think this is a unique situation because you can't control what like the other side is doing. So what are you going to do? Just like peacefully protest while people are bombing you? Like probably not, right? So stuff like that, I feel like it's tough to like it's like what is the right thing, right?
Yeah.
To stand up for what you believe in, like technically fighting back, like is part of a way to do that.
Yeah, I think the point is right, like the chicken before the egg, because like
Yeah.
the people will argue, well, then what Hitler wouldn't have been able to do what he did if the
Yes.
people for Germany didn't say that they
Yes.
were willing to go and fight, right? But
And obviously that was stemming from previous like the wars that came before that
Yeah.
is what the angst and the pent
Exactly.
up. Yeah.
Exactly. So usually what happens with wars, right? It's a domino effect. It's like it's not just people all of a sudden decide they're going to go to war and they hate each other, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Not like all
there's a
these-
series of events that builds up to
Yeah.
this standpoint where people are willing to go to war. And I guess at that point, if you were able to come to the conclusion of these lyrics and be like, this isn't going to resolve anything. It's a terrible idea. I totally resonate with that. I totally get it. Like diplomatic resolution should come first in all facets. So I totally get where this is going and I get the concept. I think it's just I can see the controversy because it's a very nuanced argument that you're trying to make. So
Yeah, for sure.
anyways, 2.5 minute song. We're not going to continue this. We're not going to go into debate even more. And if you do start to debate on anything in the comments, guys, please just do your best to keep it,
Respectful.
mature and respectful.
Yes.
Because we can have disagreements, but we don't need to hate each other over it or anything like that. And I think our community handles that pretty well. So
Yeah.
let's keep that going on this one. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you give a shout out to Mark for creating some controversy on our channel, and make
Keeping
sure
it lively.
you have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.
Thanks for watching.